You know, Dave, over here at the CCA Workbench, I learn a lot of stuff every week, and certainly Hummingbird is going to help us this week.
Yep.
So, Dave, we're talking about tunas.
Well, he's the one fish that we'd want to use a 2-speed reel, you know, because a tuna fish, dogs, they stay down. They get their head down, they just pump, 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 pump. They don't stop, you know. A blue marlin, he'll give up and jump around on top of the water and let us back up to him and catch him. Tunas don't play that game. They go down, they go down, they go down, so it's a hard fish to get up. And a Macaira 2-speed, Kuma right here,
Yep.
you know, you're going to be able to get enough cranking power to get him up, you know, and you're going to have a nice harness,
Yeah,
especially
you
if
gotta
it's
lean back.
Yeah, you can
Lean
stand
back.
up and fight big tunas if you have the correct harness, and that's, you know, in that whole aft coast stand-up setup.
Yep.
You know, you're close to the reel. You got a short rod. You can carry. Look, you're carrying a lot of drag right there, and you're not even working.
No, the key is keep those legs slightly bent, and
Yep.
more importantly, keep your feet out front of you. Where we get into trouble
Yep,
is
when
when
you
our
start leaning
body,
over.
our body isn't leaning over our feet.
Right,
So
you
remember
gotta keep
that,
back.
guys.
Use your body weight.
Lean back.
That's
Look at this.
That's how I can crush them, as I use all my body weight, my buttocks,
Buttocks.
my buttocks.
All right, so
But-
Dave, what are we going to use to catch them?
Well, you know, tuna, unlike just about everything else that we're catching out there, are very size oriented to their prey. If you're out there and you see a bunch of tunas hopping around and you can't see what they're eating, and then you go dragging a couple of big ballyhoos through that mess, you're probably not going to get a bite. They're probably eating stuff that you can't even see. Little stuff, you know, like this big,
What?
or
This
even
little
smaller.
things like
Yeah,
this?
they're eating little larvas in there. A big 40, 60, 80-pound tuna, they can be eating little tiny fish that you can barely see. And if you come through there with a big ballyhoo or a big cedar plug or any of the stuff that we use to catch tunas, you might not get a bite. You say, oh man, I saw these tunas, I can't get a bite. Well, it's because you're using too big of stuff. And that right there is a little tuna killer. It's the secret weapon. If you can't get a bite out of a whole bunch of tunas and you see those tunas out there, get you some 50-pound fluorocarbon or down and a 4X, you know, super strong little 4 or 5/0 hook.
Right.
And put it behind a lead weight, enough to keep that jig in the water, that octopus skirt in the water, and shove it up in that octopus skirt just like that. And that sucker right there will catch tunas when other guys aren't getting bites.
Right.
And, you know, on the east coast of Florida over here, we have to go on the other side of the Gulf Stream to get to the tuna fishes, unless we're fishing for blackfins
Right.
or little tunnies or something on the fly. But to get the yellowfin tunas, we have to go on the other side of the Gulf Stream. In the Gulf of Mexico, they got to go a long way. They got to go out to deep water, usually, you know, 300 feet plus in a good color change. Their best bet is really to hang around one of those oil rigs, because that's where the tunas will
When they
find
go to the rigs, Dave, are they vertically fishing when they first get there? You know, with you know, these type of Williamson jigs.
What I would do is I would cruise around the rig and try to find out if there is a school of tuna there, you know, just by dragging stuff around. If I find the tunas, once I see the tunas, I'll stop and try to, you know, get myself oriented to where I can chum the tunas up to the back of the boat, and then you throw live baits out there after you chum the fish up.
Right.
And it's almost an instant bite. Once you get a bunch of tunas up behind the boat, they're going to eat any live bait you throw in. And just like a lot of the fish, the pelagic fishing, if you can get and keep live bait, you're going to catch more tunas than
Right.
anything else. You also want to use, you know, stuff that can go fast when you're trying to find the fish, and you want to keep your stuff back a good ways if the tunas have been getting hammered. You know, if it gets starting late in the season, again, you start to get to the point where you can't get any more bites. Let your stuff back further until you can start getting
And you
bites
say
again.
downsize, go to like a 50-pound or even maybe 40-pound. The fluorocarbon, the Suffix Invisalign really works well.
Right. And
Agree?
use the birds. Yep.
Yeah.
You want to use, you know, down to 50-pound, any kind of fluorocarbon. It's one of the, you know, they can see colors. You know, we say a lot of times a pelagic fish usually can only see blue. Tunas can see colors. They have special heat exchangers in their eyes so that when they dive, it keeps their eyeballs warm. They can still see. You know, they're very sights, you know, oriented fish, you know, more so than any of them. It's one of those fish where usually I say, oh, don't worry about what color you put out there. If you keep getting hammered on the pink jig, put the pink jig out, because they can see colors. And if they're hammering little red puffer fish and you come through there with something little and red, they're going to pile on it, because that's what they're used to seeing. And unlike the other fish out there that only see in shades of blue mostly, tunas can see colors, and it's very important to try to match the hatch.
See, and you know what? I learn every time. That explains why the tunas obviously feed better, or we catch more early in the morning, low light, or late in the evening, late in the afternoon, low light.
Because they can't see your stuff as well. You fool them.
Yeah, I know. Good job, Dave. I appreciate it. I learned. See, again, I'm learning. I'm over here learning. I learned today.